That's about the fifth stick I've broken so far. Anyways, that's about as fragile as an autistic mind can be. Now, I consider myself a pretty durable person. I can take a lot of things. I can take on a lot of pressure. The problem is when you apply too much pressure to an autistic mind, it can very easily break, just like that stick. I once said that I was working on a bigger project. I wanted to talk about the Nick Usher situation, but there's just a lot going on there. I wanted to let the dust settle before I really get on it, because I don't know what the hell he's doing right now. But what I do know is that when Al finishes and hopefully he actually follows through with the greed of man situation, actually making it free, I'll be there. I'll play it. I'll cover his story. I wanted to talk about something else. And what I wanted to talk about is the chaotic mix of pressure and autism. As I said before, I can take on a lot of pressure. Like a titanium sub going far beneath the water. But you know what? My titanium is not that thick. Oftentimes, especially in recent years, I've experienced a lot of trouble. Not many people, especially in the older generation, really understands my disability. And some of them like to claim that they do understand, but in reality, they don't. As an autistic adult, I'm not treated like I have autism. I'm treated like I was when I was a kid, when autism wasn't really recognized as the disorder it is today, where if you're autistic, it's an excuse. ADHD, excuse. You're just lazy and don't want to do the work. Those words sound familiar to you? Because they do to me. I struggle a lot with work. I can hold up a job. I can. I'm very punctual. Oh, phone drop. I want a mic drop at the end of the video, not a phone drop. Okay. So, I got sidetracked. As I was trying to get at, I'm a very reliable employee. I'm very good at anything I do. You put me on a job, I'm gonna be good at it. Where I struggle with work, though, is following instructions. I have a very specific way of learning. You have to be very direct with me and very specific. Otherwise, I'm not going to understand. When I tell this to people, oftentimes they assume whatever they think. Not the fact that, oh, this guy is telling the truth and he's actually autistic. No, they start treating me like I'm a freaking idiot. Especially if I don't follow their generalized, simple instructions. Use my dad as an example. No offense, Dad, I know you're learning. But when I was growing up, my dad would tell me to do something. Like nothing I've ever done before. Let's use dishes as an example. He has a really funny way of doing dishes, by the way. Now, say I never did dishes before. Ever. Not once in my life. Tell me to do the dishes. I don't know how. And you'd be like, oh, it's simple. Just put them in the dishwasher. I'll do exactly that. It may seem like malicious compliance, but I'll do exactly that. I won't rinse them off. I won't do anything like that. And then you get pissed off. You call me a dumbass. Say I'm acting stupid. Be like, it's easy. It's common sense. I don't get common sense unless you teach me common knowledge. And you didn't teach me, excuse my language. You have to tell me. You have to, like, look at me, hand me a dish, and be like, Jared, you need to scrub this dish, get all the food off of it, and then put them in the dishwasher. Now, his version of the dishes is you have to fill one side of the sink with soapy dishwater and then rinse off your dishes in there. Filling up the sink is smart, but you're wasting dish soap. Just rinse them off, scrub them, then put them in the dishwasher. Dishwasher will sanitize them for you. You don't gotta sanitize them. Oftentimes, this leads to a lot of pressure. Because my dad oftentimes treated me like an absolute idiot. There was a time when I was 12 years old, I didn't understand the scientific functions of a microwave, and I didn't understand that metal conducts heat. You could probably tell where I'm going with this. I put a metal cup with a plastic handle in the microwave. 12 years old. The metal cup sparked. The plastic handle started blazing. Not 420 blazing, just blazing. And it destroyed the entire microwave. Like, the microwave said, nah, boss, I quit. And he would spend the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. I don't know how long. It felt like that long. In fact, it felt like 2 hours of him absolutely screaming at me, saying I was an idiot. It's common sense. I should have known. And this applies pressure. Pressure to my autistic mind that to him is simply an excuse. And this would lead to me literally crying. I'm bawling. I'm ferocious. Like, tears coming down my face. I cannot stand it with this guy screaming at me because I did something that I didn't know. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to put a metal cup in the microwave. I was literally just learning that the hard way. And this led to an entire fight within my whole family. My mom was yelling at my dad. My brother was yelling at my dad. God bless their hearts, they were actually defending me because I simply didn't know better because nobody freaking taught me. But even though they weren't yelling at me specifically, I was still affected by their yelling because that's a lot of noise for somebody, especially an autistic kid. And I would just shut myself out from the world for the rest of the day. It was rough. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that the autistic mind is fragile. You can't just scream at an autistic person. You can't treat them like they're stupid because they don't understand what you're trying to tell them. How about you try to find a different way to explain things to them? I oftentimes struggle with jobs for the simple fact that I can't follow instructions clearly. It has to be direct. You have to specifically tell me what I need to do. Now, of course, I'm an adult. I can ask questions. Which is another problem I have. It's asking questions. Because when I ask questions that seem simple to a typical mind, they start looking at me like I'm an idiot. Now, most of the time, they'll give me that look like I'm a freaking idiot. I'll brush it off. They think I'm stupid. Oh well. They don't understand that I have autism, even if I clearly explained to them previously, I have autism. My issue comes when somebody starts treating me like I'm actually stupid. Father-in-law, for example. Don't bless his heart. I honestly don't like him. I'm making that very focal right now. He is an absolute asshole. He likes me. I don't like him. And the reason I don't like him is because if I don't know something that I wasn't taught previously, or I don't understand what he's trying to say and he has to repeat it like 3 times because he won't say it in a different way. He'll just say exactly what he said, and I would be like, I don't understand, and then he'll repeat it exactly the same way. He starts telling me that I'm an idiot. Excuse my language again, that slipped out of frustration. He starts telling me that I'm an absolute idiot. That I'm stupid. That anybody knows this. No, not everybody knows it. Because somebody isn't going to know something if you don't teach them something. Now, it starts to apply pressure to me. Now, he's the kind of person that doesn't just treat people like an idiot. He starts adding on to things. He'll take his own frustrations out on me, and what does this do to my mind when people are taking all their frustration out on me? I snap. I start looking at him and I'm like, dude, you're the idiot because you don't want to understand how somebody else's mind works. Now, I know this may seem more like a rant to me. It is a rant, honestly. When I'm under a lot of pressure, I make a lot of stupid decisions. I say things without thinking, and my mind starts to unravel. When it unravels, it twists. And when it twists, it breaks. Now, I used to absolutely freak. Sometimes when my mind gets like this and I can't take the pressure anymore, I start hitting myself. Start beating on my head. I start getting frustrated and I start getting angry and I just want to yell. I just want to go, ah! Because that's how angry I get when my mind is under so much pressure. It's absolute chaos for me. It feels like D-Day. I would never know what D-Day feels like, and I'm honestly grateful I don't have any personal experience with D-Day. But it feels like a war zone. It feels like my brain cells are dying like soldiers on the beach, being gunned down by automatic machine guns and all that crap, being blown to bits. Now, sometimes it's very hard, very, very hard to calm down from that state. It's a lot. Sometimes it takes my fiance with a calming tone and just holding me down, like physically restraining me. Let me rephrase. Not like she holds me to the ground and tells me to calm down while sitting on top of me. That's dangerous. Don't do that. What I mean is that she puts her arms under my arms, ensuring that I'm not completely restricted, and just hugging me, giving me an embrace. She's restraining me with love. And that oftentimes calms me down. Other times, I simply need to go outside, touch some grass, get some fresh air, calm down. When I calm down, I'm tired. Because It's like walking out of a battle zone, a war zone. You're a survivor, out of many dead, and you're just exhausted. Now, granted, it's a big stretch to relate my autism to an actual real life war zone. I've seen videos, especially of the Ukrainian war against Russia. And boy, my heart goes out to those people because they're going through a lot. I can't imagine that. But I'm just trying to set an example of how exhausted I am after a meltdown because I've had so much pressure applied. Now, oftentimes, like I said, I can handle a lot. Heavy traffic, no problem. Rude customers, no problem. I've had some guy assault me at Wendy's through the drive-thru window with coins. I kept a level head that entire time. He threw a handful of coins at my chest, and I just looked at him and said, "What's your problem, man?" Now, of course, I started getting frustrated because you know how customers are. They're entitled. They want to make you, the employee, feel like the useless idiot because they think you're lesser than them. You're not. Now, I'm very grateful for my manager at the time who came up to de-escalate the situation. When he walked up to me, he was like, "Jared, what's going on?" And I said, "I can't do this, boss. I'm like, I gotta step away for a sec. Can you please calm this?" I go, "Can you please sort this out?" And he did. So grateful for that man. Now, like I was saying, I can handle a lot. And that's the problem. Just because I can handle a lot doesn't mean I don't come without my limits. Or I doesn't mean I come without limits. Anyways, now when I start to have a lot of pressure built up, I'm much like any other person in this situation. It takes one small thing on a max pressure bar to make me crumble. Just like the Ocean Gate submarine diving down to the Titanic for one final tour. Even though it's withstand several trips in those depths, it didn't survive the last. Because that last trip was all it needed before that submarine crumbled. And that's just how I am. And one of those many things is when my loved ones guilt trip me. Say, my dad starts to say, "I feel like my kids don't love me." And he'll generalize that. And I'm one of those kids. But I love him. I always make an effort to show that I love him. But saying something like that, it makes me snap. It's that one thing, that one little thing with all the pressure on my shoulders that finally breaks the camel's back. Can't say things like that to me. You shouldn't even say things like that to a normal, typical person. Because honestly, saying something like that is messed up. It's guilt tripping. And you shouldn't do it to your own kids. And if you do say those kind of mean things to your kids, shame on you. But the point is that it's simple things. Very, very, very simple things that you could say in the wrong way that can make me snap. Now, oftentimes, I try to make a practice on letting the person elaborate. I'll tell them, I'll specifically ask them too if they don't. Could you elaborate that to me, please? Because I don't understand what you mean. More often than not, they do elaborate, and I'm very grateful when they do. Times that they don't, and I don't ask for them to elaborate because I'm already got a lot on my mind. Because I already have all this pressure building up. But it's the very, very, very little things that can really get to somebody, especially if you don't elaborate on them. And that's the biggest part with an autistic person is that you have to elaborate on things. We don't understand, we don't process things the same way a normal, typical person would. Having a neurodivergent mind is like having a quantum computer that's running on Windows XP. We probably have some of the most intelligent minds in the world. Some of the most intelligent minds, actually, are autistic, have been confirmed to be autistic, or at least theorized to be autistic. Not Pokemon Man. Let me just clear that up right now. It's already been confirmed. Creator of Pokemon, not autistic. So don't go calling him autistic. That's a lie. But you have to explain things. Communication is a big part of any form of relationship. And it's even bigger to an autistic person. Because that's how we understand is if you communicate and you elaborate and you explain things. Elaborating and explaining is the same thing, but I'm throwing words out there off the top of my head because it's all coming off the top of my head. I have no script. I know, but I suck at them. I know scripts are create more organized videos and topics, and I'll leave scripts from my bigger videos, not this one. This one, I want it to come straight from the heart, right here. Right here. Yes, that's where my heart is. I can literally feel it beating. To really summarize what I'm trying to say here is that having there's a hawk. There's a freaking hawk. Hold on, you guys gotta see this. Look. Can you see that? It's a hawk. Dude, that's so cool. Oh my god. It's so low. I hope you guys can see. I hope I'm pointing the camera in the right way. That's so cool. That was awesome. Distractions aside. Sorry, ADHD moment there. What, what I'm really trying to summarize is that applying a lot of pressure to an autistic mind can be a very chaotic sort. In fact, a lot of pressure to anybody is chaos. But for the typical mindsets out there, imagine being under a lot of pressure. People are yelling at you. You don't understand what you're trying to tell them, what they're trying to tell you. Excuse me. They They're upset. You got a lot of people upset. You feeling the pressure. It sucks. It really sucks. You're like, dude, I want to scream. Now apply that to an autistic person and times it by 2. That pressure is intense. You want to scream? I want to hit myself. I want to break my hands. In fact, my knuckles are going flat because of how many times I've hit walls and hit fridges, because of how much pressure would be applied to my mind, and I snap. I can't take it. So I take my frustrations out on anything around me. Now, I haven't really hit a wall since. And it was only yesterday I started hitting myself because I'm not going to go into my personal life, but let's just say I was facing a lot of pressure yesterday. There's certain things that you may be able to say. There are certain things you may be able to say to a typical person that if you said it to an autistic person, it's not going to work out as you think it would. You have to be careful with what you say. It's not just about us being sensitive. And you shouldn't care about sensitive people. We're not snowflakes. We're autistic. We don't understand certain things you're trying to say or certain tones you're conveying. Of course we're going to get hurt. Of course we're going to get upset. Don't call us a snowflake just because you think we're sensitive. We're not sensitive. We have a disability. We have a struggle we're trying to get through. So next time you really upset a person, especially if that person doesn't seem normal, maybe ask yourself, is this person autistic? Or simply, don't ask if they're autistic, just ask yourself, should I have said that in a different way? That's all I wanted to say for this video. If you like this video, subscribe. Or like. Subscribe too. Please subscribe. You know what? No. Not please subscribe. Subscribe. I'm telling you. I'm demanding you subscribe. Now, hit that red button. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to keep up with these videos. I know I've been lacking a lot. Just, there's a lot going on in life. I really wanted to get this off my chest. I know it's probably not the most organized video I've made, but talking about this, it really makes me feel better. And the fact that people are out here watching my videos, listening to me, it means a lot. A lot more than you may think it means to me. It means the freaking world. Thank you, guys. I'm going to keep up with these videos. Expect them weekly. Once again, I know I've already said this like 5-6 times already. Thank you. Like the video if you like my content. Subscribe if you want to see more. Stay saucy, everyone.